At the start of the story, a god makes a pact with a baby, and that baby turns out to be the main protagonist of the story, Astario. Gains huge power from it, but his childhood gets ruined as he is always in trouble controlling his rising power. So he isn't able to train hard. In the present time, he goes to an academy, but till now he is always called incompetent because he hides his power. While entering the classroom, he was stopped by a child named Maru. Maru angrily asked how someone so incompetent like had gotten into the academy. Didn't care about any of it, as he only wanted a peaceful life. Still, he said that they both cleared the exam, so they were accepted. Maru rushed at with his power to show the gap between them, and he began making fun of him with the others, telling him to get out. But a girl named Alice stepped in to help and told those guys to shut up, saying passed the exam fairly. Maru tried to tease Alice too, but Alice told Maru to compare his written exam score with as well. Maru felt embarrassed since he had only gotten passing marks in it, so he told everyone that Alice had a crush on thought it wouldn't affect Alice since she was a very tough girl, but to his shock, she stood there quietly, looking embarrassed. Everyone was making fun of her for it, while was thinking he wouldn't have come to the academy if his father hadn't pushed him by threatening to throw him out of the house. Still didn't care, but his big sister gently forced him to go to the entrance exam. Was about to say something in the class, but just then, the Soleil sensei arrived and told everyone to return to their seats. Everyone sat down, and thanked Alice for it. After that, when the Soleil sensei congratulated everyone for passing, Maru raised a question that someone had mistakenly gotten enrolled, and it was The Soleil sensei explained that even though had low marks in the practical, he had scored full marks in the written exam, and it was the first time in history. Maru was stunned, and the Soleil sensei even advised him to learn from for future exams. After that, the Soleil sensei began teaching about the pact they would have to make with a god in the future. The more famous the god, the more fame and power they would gain. Alice asked if making pacts with multiple gods was possible. The Soleil sensei replied yes, but said it was an extremely rare case. He also added that he had someone special to explain pacts to them. Everyone started laughing, while Alice looked sad. Seeing that, felt confused, but at that moment, a girl walked into the class and said she was a god with no name. While the Soleil sensei introduced her, everyone made fun of her for being a weak stray god with no name. The girl agreed with them, saying there was no power gained by making a pact with nameless gods like her. She told them to always ask a god's name before making a pact. Maru, trying to mock her, asked for her name. She sadly explained it again. Was confused, wondering what the class was even trying to show. Maru then asked if he could name her if he made a pact with her. She said yes, so he asked about the process. She said he had to get down on one knee and kiss the back of her hand. She again asked if Maru was sure about it since she didn't have any name. Maru mocked her, saying she did have a name and it was incompetent god, and that it suited her. Grew frustrated hearing it. The girl sadly thanked Maru with a small smile. When Maru and the others kept making fun of her, angrily stood up. Seeing this, Alice tensed and said that she was a girl god who couldn't make a pact with anyone. Still, Alice understood and told him not to have any strange ideas. But thanked Alice for understanding him and moved toward the girl god. He went near Maru and told him to run away. Maru looked back strangely, but before he could say anything, punched him in the stomaru, and he fell unconscious. Everyone was stunned by Yuno's power, as Maru had passed out from just one punch. Actually, had been happy being called incompetent since his power could cause disasters, but now he wanted to use it for someone. He wanted to see the girl god smile, so he asked her to make a pact with him. She asked if he truly wanted it and wasn't playing a trick. He told her to try, secretly thinking his power might increase her fame. Fearfully, she slowly offered her hand, and without hesitation, kissed it and formed the pact. She became very happy and asked to give her a name. Seeing her smile, he felt glad and named her Athena. Athena was pleased with the name and then asked to introduce himself. Did so and decided to take things more seriously from now on. When stepped out with her, every student made comments like would regret it or that he was a fool. Seeing her sad, he asked what was wrong. She apologized for all the ruckus, but he was captivated by her cuteness and praised her beauty. It had been a few days since he became famous, but not for good reasons. He was known for beating a kid on the first day and getting suspended. When he returned to class, Athena was peeking from the door, which he found adorable. Alice asked what was so strange about him. He apologized. She told him she wasn't upset that he made a pact with Athena, but he should watch out for Maru and his friends, as the mock battle class was coming up, and they would definitely try something. He told her not to worry, as he now had Athena. Actually, Yuno's main goal was to show the power he had gained from Athena and make her famous. Athena gave him the blessing of spear arts, and with the power he already had from god Zeus, which was far beyond ordinary people, he could defeat anyone. So, it was a good way to raise Athena's reputation. Everyone was confused seeing Athena at the door, but it couldn't be solved since she didn't have powers like other gods to hide. Yuno decided to make her dematerialize or become invincible. He got dazed again, but the Soleil sensei arrived and shouted at him. After that, the scene shifted to the mock battle arena. Athena cheered for Yuno during the battle. The Soleil sensei explained the rules of the mock battle to everyone and said they could choose their opponents. The Soleil sensei then asked who wanted to fight. Maru stepped forward and said he wanted to fight Yuno. Yuno agreed. Maru was surprised that Yuno had the courage to face him. Yuno warned him not to underestimate someone who had a pact with a god. Maru mocked him, saying that an incompetent making a pact with another incompetent was a total failure. Then, Maru aggressively attacked with a wind blade and Yuno rushed forward to strike. Alice was stunned and told Yuno to dodge, but to her surprise, he deflected the wind with his spear. Maru used the wind blade again, but this time Yuno dodged it and struck Maru with his spear. Maru was taken down with just one hit. Everyone was shocked, but the most surprised was Yuno himself, as he had used his power by his own will. Just as Yuno thought he could handle it, he was flashed back to the time he had nearly killed his big sister in an accidental outburst of power. Yet, he felt a strange excitement seeing Maru collapsed before him. Yuno was lost in thought about his power when he suddenly came back to his senses, hearing Athena praise him. He shouted that the spear arts Athena had given him were amazing. Yuno felt happy, thinking that as long as he was with Athena, he wouldn't go down the wrong path. Then, a student shouted and challenged Yuno to fight. Yuno fought again and defeated him. After that, he continued fighting and defeated 8 more people. Everyone was stunned and amazed by Yuno's power and thought about making a pact with Athena. The next day, Athena became the talk of the academy and gained fame. But it was the opposite for Yuno, as he became famous as a treacherous troublemaker for going so bloody in the mock battles. Some days later, Athena asked Yuno to look, as she was able to fly now. Yuno felt amazed, but people still spoke badly about him. Later, while sitting calmly in class, he thought that until Athena's reputation grew, he didn't need to worry about himself. Alice came over and asked Yuno to come along. Yuno, confused, asked where. She said they were going to hold matchmaking at the Ferris Girls' Academy. He asked curiously what that was. On the way, Alice explained that it was a tradition where they had to become a knight for one of the students of the girls' academy. Yuno asked how they were supposed to serve them. She said that from now on, both he and his partner would have to travel to the academy and study together. Yuno thought it was a chance to interact with girls. Alice explained all the rules about how they would be chosen. Yuno grew tense, wondering who would pick him after all the bad rumors about him. Yuno began to freak out, thinking about what would happen if he didn't get chosen. He tried to run away, but Alice pulled him back inside. Every girl was mesmerized seeing Alice and praised her. Some girls asked Alice about her companions, and she introduced them, but the girls reacted strangely, completely ignored him, and rushed to meet Athena instead. He then decided to talk to some girls to improve his impression. He greeted 2 girls and asked about their choices. They both said it would be Alice or Crame. Then he asked their opinion about him. They directly refused to choose Yuno. He tried to praise his name, but they were firm in their decision. They then asked Yuno's name, but he had already disappeared. Yuno felt very sad that he was hated so much. While lying against a wall in tension, he heard girls shouting and wondered if they were fighting. When he looked, he saw some girls surrounding a lone girl and shouting loudly. The lone girl told them to get out of her way. The girls threatened her, so she challenged them to try. They then cast a circle spell, and goblins emerged from it. The goblins rushed toward the lone girl, while the other girls ran away. Yuno grew tense and decided to help her. The girl projected a serious aura, but the goblins still attacked her. She drew a sword and declared that she wouldn't let them take it while she was alive. Thinking she was risking her life, Yuno rushed forward and snatched the dagger. Before she could say anything, he instantly killed the goblins in a millisecond. He handed the sword back and started leaving. The girl thanked him, but he simply walked away. She asked if he wasn't going to introduce himself. He refused, saying he wasn't worthy. In truth, he thought of the girl like his sister, as his sister was very serious and had little patience. In the past, she had threatened suicide if Yuno was disowned by his family. He decided to leave quickly, but before that, she introduced herself as Lunaflame and asked if he was still going to remain silent. Yuno introduced himself as Maru Burn, greeted her goodbye, and left. Next, it shows Yuno very tense, as it had been a week since he came to the girls' academy, but not a single person had greeted him. Athena tried to cheer him up, which made him a little happy. He then saw everyone approaching Alice to be their knight, but she declined all of them, saying she had her heart set on someone and would become the knight of that person only. She even tried to suggest Yuno, but just hearing his name, they all disappeared from there. Athena tried the same again, but now Yuno wanted her to give up. He felt miserable hearing everyone talk about Alice and Crane. Suddenly, he saw Maru also sitting alone. Maru tried to mock Yuno, but Yuno argued back, pointing out that Maru was also sitting alone. Lastly, Maru told Yuno not to worry, saying he would get aid in the end. Yuno asked about it, confused. Maru explained that the leftover people get paired by someone who couldn't find a match. Yuno felt even more tense, realizing he might end up as an unsold good again. Suddenly, he saw Athena shouting and asking everyone to be his princess while talking about his special qualities. Seeing her like that, he also got motivated, introduced himself, and told everyone he would protect them. Then, a girl from last time came and asked if he remembered her. He apologized for suddenly disappearing, but she apologized in return for insulting him without knowing. She introduced herself as Einstadt. He thought she was going to choose him, so he was about to introduce himself properly. But suddenly, the room's gate opened and Luna appeared. Everyone was calling her the solitary moon. Yuno asked Ein, confused, what it meant. Ein explained that Luna belonged to one of the 4 powerful families and was the daughter of the Marquis family. It was extraordinary that Luna had come, as from the beginning she had made it clear she would not take part in the tradition. Both Alice and Crane bowed before Luna. Seeing this, everyone was stunned and realized she was the one they had both been referring to as their dedication. Luna then greeted Alice. Alice asked if Luna had changed her mind. Luna denied it, saying she still wanted to be alone, but due to the rules, it was better to be paired by her own choice than with someone unknown. Both Alice and Crane offered their service to be her knight. Luna said she had already heard the rumor and asked if Alice was sure she was the strongest of them all. Alice, confused, asked what that meant. Luna explained that truly strong people do not boast about their strength. Alice asked curiously about Luna's idea of being the strongest. Crane thought Luna meant him, but Luna said it was Maru Burn. Alice and Crane were stunned, and even Maru was surprised. When Maru stepped forward and introduced himself, Luna asked, confused, who he was. Alice, tensely, told her he was Maru. Luna understood and smiled. Luna then asked if there was someone with black hair and a perverted expression. Alice thought for a moment and realized it was Yuno. Luna also saw Yuno and told Alice to bring him over. When Yuno arrived, Luna asked him to be her knight. Maru was shocked to hear this, but Luna angrily told him to go away. Alice, curious, asked why Luna chose Yuno over her. Luna said that she had taken a liking to Yuno. Maru shouted that she must be mistaken, as Yuno came from another famous but incompetent family. Luna added that Yuno was the one who caused a bloodbath in the mock battle. Maru argued that if Yuno's spear was taken away, he would be nothing. Luna then took out a dagger and said that if she gave it to him, Yuno would be completely helpless. Maru agreed. She laughed and asked Yuno to answer now, saying it was too intriguing. Yuno didn't want to become Luna's knight, so he used Athena and told Luna that he was going to be her knight instead. Athena still agreed to be part of that lie. Later, Luna asked Athena whether she was from class 1 or 2. Athena replied that she was from class 1. At that moment, the lie was exposed because the invited students were from class Flower, Bird, Wind, and Moon. Yuno became tense, and Luna told him to give up and not embarrass himself by pretending to introduce his family. He had no choice, so he decided to become Luna's knight. Alice then asked Luna if she really believed Yuno's ability was greater than hers. Luna replied that she didn't know. Maybe it was, but she didn't believe Yuno was incompetent at all. Alice was a little unhappy about it, but she still smiled and told Yuno that he would have to face her if Luna got even a small scratch. Yuno finally bowed down in front of Luna and announced that he would become her knight and swore to protect her. Luna smiled and told him that she would not bore him. In the next scene, it shows that someone is shouting and telling them to leave. Yuno agrees with that and starts leaving, but Luna stops him. It turns out to be Luna's father named Argos, and he refuses to accept Yuno as her knight. Luna argues that she already did what he asked from her, but Argos shouts that he will not accept someone who was even abandoned by his own father. Luna says that Yuno is the one who saved her completely and the one who caused a bloodbath in the mock battle. Argos says that Yuno already lost his bright future the moment he chose Athena. Yuno gets angry after hearing bad things about Athena. He tells Argos that he is confident in his spear fighting and fiercely asks to have a match with him. Luna laughs and says that she gives him permission to go all out. Argos agrees and says that instead of him, his weakest servant will fight. Luna looks surprised but doesn't say anything. In the garden, Yuno is ready for fight. Luna says that she will not be able to see if he is holding back against the opponent. He is surprised that she never doubts his ability. Yuno is determined to win for Athena's pride. A butler comes there and introduces himself as Claude, Yuno's partner in the bout. Yuno is confused to see a butler. Claude asks if Argos is sure, and Argos says yes while telling Claude to go all out. Even Luna tells Yuno to be serious. When the fight begins, Claude disappears from the front and attacks from behind, but Yuno somehow dodges it. Still in midair, Claude attacks again, but Yuno easily blocks the strike. Argos is shocked, shouting that it is impossible to dodge that attack. Yuno decides to get a little serious now, and they both start a proper battle. In between, Claude asks who called Yuno incompetent. Yuno also asks Claude who called him the weakest. Argos angrily tells Claude to finish the match, while Luna feels sad that she cannot see their movements and asks them to slow down. Yuno knows that he is only fighting a little serious now, but suddenly, Claude starts fighting more seriously and strikes Yuno with a kick, then a back kick, which makes Yuno fall to the ground. While Argos praises Claude, thinking the match is over, Yuno wonders how much and to what extent he was able to fight Claude. Luna stands and says that the match isn't over. She tells Yuno that he doesn't have permission to be defeated until she says so. She asks him to get up, as she knows he is capable of doing it. Seeing that smile, he blushes. Yuno gets up again, and seeing this, Argos shouts, asking if Claude had cut corners in the fight. Claude tells him to be silent, and says to Yuno that now he won't hold back. Yuno responds that he will do the same. Yuno then grabs his spear and attacks Claude, but this time, a different aura surrounds him. Seeing this, Claude becomes a little tense and manages to dodge the strike. The attack damages the field over a long area. Argos is completely stunned. Claude forfeits the match, leaving Argos silently shocked. Yuno is happy that Argos won't say anything to Athena now. He then asks about Claude being called the weakest. Luna explains that Claude used to be the head of the kingdom's knights and was even equal to the sword saints. Yuno is surprised to learn the truth and asks tensely why Luna kept that information from him. She replies that it would have been boring if she had told him. Moreover, it was the perfect chance for her to see his true powers. Now, Luna asks if Argos understands her decision. She asks if he isn't glad. Yuno thinks that it might not be a bad deal for him and Athena. He even blushes, thinking that he might get more time to spend with Luna. He agrees and says that she is beautiful, both inside and outside. She then asks him to let her show him his room. At first, he says yes, but soon asks what she just said. She explains that he will live with them in her house, since he is her pawn, and this is only natural. In the next scene, a little girl approaches him and asks who he is. He replies that he is Luna's knight. The little girl starts laughing. After that, Luna shows him his room and then leaves the place. He is still surprised to see that the little girl is laughing even after a minute. The girl brings water for him and then sits on his lap. She says that he has a strange feeling around him, but she isn't scared. The girl then stands and asks him to lift her. At first, he is confused, but he manages to pick her up in the air. To his shock, she asks him to hug her. He refuses, but she blackmails him, saying she will tell Luna that he likes little girls. He gets scared and hugs her immediately. He tries to pull away, but she keeps holding him tightly. Soon, Luna also arrives, and seeing her, the little girl runs to her, shouting that she is scared. Yuno gets tense and tells Luna that it's not what she thinks. Seeing Yuno so tense and the glass on the table, Luna asks if her sister served it. He says yes. Luna laughs and then asks the little girl to introduce herself. The little girl introduces herself as Elise Flame, the second daughter of the House of Flame. Yuno is still tense and stays in protective mode. Luna tells Yuno not to worry, as she already knows what Elise has done to him. Yuno asks why Luna made him wait. At that moment, Athena arrives and he feels very happy. But before he can meet her, Elise jumps on her in excitement. Luna explains that the staff told her Athena was wandering outside their estate, so she brought her in and prepared her room. He asks in surprise if Athena is also living with them. Luna says yes, and if Athena wasn't his motive. He smiles and replies that yes, she is. Suddenly, another woman arrives, and seeing her, Luna shouts, "Mother." Yuno, noticing her beauty, feels flustered, but first greets her. She returns the greeting and introduces herself as Charlotte. Charlotte says that she will give her husband some harsh words for troubling Yuno. She then talks about Luna finding a knight, but Elise shouts that Luna is being unfair to the other girls, as she also wants Yuno, having taken a liking to him. Charlotte laughs and says that it is not possible now. Charlotte then greets Athena and has a short chat with her, telling her that her kami-sama would be happy to see her. Yuno then asks Charlotte about her pact. Charlotte explains that she made a pact with Astaroth, the god of beauty and love. At first, he is amazed to hear that Charlotte made a pact with such a powerful god, but soon he wonders if he was supposed to know about that god. At that moment, he sees Athena shivering, so he asks tensely what is wrong. Athena starts saying sorry instead of answering. Suddenly, the wall begins cracking and a hole appears. A strange aura emerges from it, so he urgently tells everyone to stay back. He wonders what is happening when suddenly a person appears and asks if they were talking about her. Charlotte becomes happy to see her and calls her Astaroth. Yuno realizes that she is the god. Astaroth and Charlotte have a short chat, while Yuno tries to calm Athena, who is still very scared. Even Astaroth approaches and asks about Athena. When Charlotte introduces Athena, Astaroth asks if that is the stray dog and who named her. Yuno says that it was him, and Astaroth asks the reason. Yuno replies that he doesn't know why. Astaroth then asks her final question, who is the one inside him? He confusedly answers that it is him inside him. She laughs and then moves a little away from him, saying that it is too boring an answer. While he wonders what she is trying to do, suddenly she attacks him, but using his power, he is able to deflect the strike. Charlotte asks tensely for the reason. Astaroth laughs and tells Yuno that he passed. She explains to everyone that she was testing if Yuno is capable of being Luna's knight. After praising Yuno and Luna, Astaroth leaves, telling Yuno they will meet again sometime. After she leaves, Athena apologizes to Yuno for her behavior. At first, Yuno feels relieved that Astaroth only came to check if he is capable, but soon he wonders about the fact that she wants to meet him again, questioning what her purpose might be. The scene then shifts to a dark and strange place, where a man sits on a throne, thinking how bored he is. Astaroth appears and starts talking about his loneliness, saying that if she were there, she would surely be bored. He angrily asks what she wants. She says that she wants to know about stray gods as she knows them well, but wonders if he is hiding something from her. He still doesn't say anything. She then talks about her power and achievements, but she isn't satisfied yet, and she knows that he feels the same. She shouts that they are too strong and no one can compete, asking what they should do now. She calls the man by the name Lucifer. Lucifer angrily shouts for her to be silent, but she attacks him. He easily blocks her strike and counters, injuring her slightly. She tells him that he shouldn't do that to a woman. He fiercely asks what has happened in the world. She replies that it's nothing special and adds that she is no match for the supreme god, or she can call him the demon lord, Satan. Lucifer just looks at her and then disappears. As he leaves, she smiles, thinking that it might not be a bad idea to find the answer on their own. Besides that, she has found a toy for herself, which is none other than Yuno. She is quite surprised that someone actually has the ability to repel her attacks, which is why she has great expectations from him. The scene shifted to the past time where Yuno was standing beside his sister as she was lecturing him about what she felt. During that, he was trying to suppress his growing power. Suddenly it slipped out of control and was about to strike his sister. Yuno stepped in between and blocked the attack. Seeing that, Rai became overwhelmed. Then it showed the moment when he was facing threats of banishing from his family. Rai came and shouted, asking if their father was really thinking that. Yuno felt happy knowing he was going to be banished and could live alone in a remote place. Suddenly, he was shocked to see that Ray was warning their father to give her life if Yuno failed to prove himself. Actually, she asked to let Yuno take the Knight Academy exam, and then he would show his power, so their father agreed to it as she had taken an oath on their family's name. Yuno was confused, wondering why his future was being decided by others. He did not want to agree to it and to refuse, but when he opened his mouth, he shouted that he would do it for sister. The scene returned to the present time, and it showed that it was only his dream. He was very happy living in Luna's house since the bed was so big and the room very spacious for his own. Also, the distance to Academy was less than his old house, so no worry about being late. Athena was also living right next door to him. It would be completely perfect for him, only if one problem was not there. It was that Elise was also sleeping on his bed. Still, he decided to leave for Academy now. When he went to change, Elise woke up and asked if he cared more about Luna than her. He replied that he cared about both equally. Elise asked him to say that he loved her, but he knew what she was planning, so he just said that it was fine. Still, she stayed stubborn about saying he had to speak it, but the moment he said it, she used her sound magic and made that voice heard by everyone inside the castle. Claude laughed hearing it, but Argos became furious and rushed to the room to kill Yuno. Yuno was still annoyed by it and wanted to leave. Even Athena arrived there, but she could not do anything. so he was waiting for Luna to come and help him. Finally, Luna reached there on time and told Yuno to go out for academy. With that, he was saved, and now he was going to academy with Luna and Athena happily, and that was his daily life now. When they entered the academy, everyone started talking about Luna. Yuno after some days realized that she was very famous and equally envied by some other people. Athena became tense and told Yuno that she felt stared at by everyone, but Yuno asked her to look clearly, saying she was not being stared at but was watched in admiration by them all. She became embarrassed hearing it, but actually all the stares she felt were really for Yuno, since people were still looking at him in anger. He hoped that his reputation would rise after becoming Luna's knight, but instead it became worse, as people started hating more, thinking he did something with Luna to choose him. Still, Yuno was happy for Athena, as her reputation was growing, and his choice on that day was not a mistake. On the way, he saw Alice and Ein talking with each other. In class, Yuno talked with Alice about her being a good acquaintance of Ein. Alice said that it was Ein-sama, and she was serving her as a knight. They talked about it for some time. Then Soleil told everyone that he was going to collect the forms for the joint training camp with Ferris Joe Girls Academy. Hearing that, Yuno became confused. Alice asked in shock what. He did not know about this also. When he checked at the desk, the form was already there. He just confirmed if Alice and Ein were also going. Hearing that they were, he signed the form for it too. Alice asked if he was sure he did not need to ask Luna. He replied yes, thinking that if she and Ein were also going, it would be fun. Alice explained that it was not fun, as it was an extracurricular activity where they would have to survive 3 days and 2 nights in the forests of the divine beasts. He became tense and ran to Soleil-sensei to take back the form, but Soleil-sensei angrily asked what, questioning whether Yuno again had not listened to him and spoke with his lady. Yuno got scared and said that it was nothing. The next scene showed him apologizing to Luna for agreeing to the camp without asking her. Luna said it was okay, as she was planning to take part anyway, since she had never experienced something like that and wanted to try. But Yuno was tense and said that it would be tough for her. First, Luna asked Elise to step aside and let them have a serious conversation. Elise did not want to leave, but Yuno asked her to stay silent. After that, there was a minute of silence. Then Luna asked what he wanted to say. Yuno asked if Argos would agree to it, as most students were not participating because their parents refused. Luna replied that it was okay, as she had already told her mother, so her father would agree. Elise asked where they were going. Yuno explained it, and then Elise said that she also wanted to go. When Luna denied her wish, Elise tried to make Yuno agree. Luna angrily told Elise to leave Yuno alone. Elise shouted that it was not fair, as only Luna got to go with Yuno. Luna said that it was for studies, but Elise smirked, saying she did not think that was true. Yuno told Luna not to worry, as he would ask Soleil-sensei to cancel their participation. Luna asked if he was not happy to be with her, saying he would not enjoy it if she were there. Yuno said that it was not what she thought. It was just that the Forest of Divine was known for its abundance of low-level magic beasts, so he did not want her to be in such a dangerous place. Luna smiled and asked if that was his problem, but she did not mind, as he would definitely protect her. With Luna's cute face, he could not refuse, and finally agreed to join the camp. At the camp, Yuno was hunting fish. When he came out, a girl shouted that it looked delicious and she wanted to eat some. On impulse, he agreed, and then went back to hunt more. Later, when he returned, he saw her properly and wondered who this girl with animal ears was. Yuno went over and told her that those were his fishes. She replied that she knew. He even tried to make her aware of the rules of the place, but she smiled and asked him for one more fish. Seeing her like that, he told her to take the rest of the fishes. He decided to hunt more and turned back. At that moment, she said it was enough, and suddenly a heavy air filled the place. When he turned back, the girl was gone. Next, it showed him returning to their camp with the fishes. He asked if everything was okay. They said that a beast bigger than the trees had appeared and just stared at them, but did not do anything. Athena said that she felt divine powers from it, so Yuno realized that it was a divine beast, but when he checked, the shield was working properly. Luna said it was okay since nothing had happened, and they should focus on preparing dinner. He agreed and told them to let him help, but they refused, saying they would make the dinner themselves. While Luna and Athena were preparing the dinner, he was happy to see them smiling together. Then Alice and Ein arrived there. He asked if their camp was nearby as well. Alice said yes, as they wanted a river that was not too crowded. He laughed, saying it was the same for them too. Ein smiled, as Alice and Yuno thought in the same way. Then Alice and Yuno discussed whether Luna would be able to make the dish by herself. After that, Alice decided to leave, but Luna asked them to stay and have dinner with them. Alice and Ein agreed. Suddenly, Crane arrived and greeted everyone. He bowed to Luna, but she said to do the formalities later as she was busy. Then he greeted Yuno and offered a handshake. Yuno shook hands with him and told him to just call him by name. Then Crame asked about the barrier and who had made it. Yuno said it was him, as he had learned it from Alice. He then invited Crame to have dinner together. Crame seemed lost in thought, but Yuno shouted, asking what he was thinking. Crame agreed to the offer. At mealtime, they saw the dish and thought it looked very delicious, but the moment they all started eating, they were stunned, as the dish tasted terrible and made them want to puke. Crame praised the dish highly. Luna then asked Yuno about it, and Yuno also praised it as good. Luna and Athena were about to start eating, but at that moment, Yuno and Crame looked at each other and suddenly began eating everything by themselves. They apologized and said they would prepare a new dish soon, so Luna and Athena should just wait. The scene then shifted to some time later, showing Yuno and Crame bathing in a hot spring. The girls were bathing on the other side of the fence. Yuno was trying to control himself and resist using magic to look over the fence. Suddenly, Crame asked Yuno if he and Ms. Luna were getting along well. Yuno hesitantly said, maybe yes. Crame smiled and said that he was jealous of Yuno, as he had been frustrated for not being her knight first. Yuno then asked if Crame liked Luna. Crame replied that he did not know, as he had always longed for her, which was why he trained hard. Suddenly, he asked Yuno why he was pretending to be incompetent. Yuno curiously asked what made Crame think that. Crame said that he had always heard Yuno was incompetent and had only received the spearmanship from the gods, but just now Yuno had cast a holy field himself. Yuno said it was just an imitation of Alice. Crame explained that holy field magic was high level, and only Alice could perform it in their academy. Yuno realized why Alice had been looking at him strangely when he cast that spell. Crame said that he understood Mrs. Luna had noticed the power Yuno was hiding. Yuno smiled and said that maybe it was true, or maybe not. Crame asked the reason behind it. Yuno explained that he had been doing it because he was afraid he might hurt someone, but now he had no intention of hiding his abilities. Actually, Yuno had decided to use his abilities to help promote the goddess Athena to become a supreme deity. Seeing Yuno's serious eyes, Crame smiled and said that he understood. Both he and Yuno had a reason to persist toward their goals. Yuno agreed. Suddenly, Crame stood up and said he had a favor to ask from Yuno. He wanted to have a duel with him. Crame wished to fight the person Ms. Luna had chosen. After that, it showed Yuno lying on the bed, thinking about the duel with Crame. It seemed meaningless to him, but he had a gut feeling that he needed to go through it and face Crame. Then he decided to sleep, but he could not, as Luna and Athena were on either side of him. It was not his first time sleeping beside girls, since he had slept beside his sister in childhood, but the problem was that he wondered why girls gave off such a nice scent. Slowly, he began focusing from their faces to their bodies. He became embarrassed, as crude thoughts were running through his mind. So he decided to take his spear and leave the tent. As he was leaving, Luna asked where he was going. He said that he had some work. After that, he wondered how she could be awake and whether she had noticed him staring at her. As he went further, he was surprised to see Crame sitting near the river. He asked if Crame was waiting for him. Crame denied it, saying he had just come to admire the moon. Then he asked if they could start the duel. Yuno agreed and asked how they would determine the winner. Crame said that he would declare it when he admitted defeat. Yuno said okay and warned Crame to remember that he was very strong. Crame replied that he already knew, but still wanted to fight. When the fight began, Yuno rushed forward in a flash and defeated Crame by placing his spear near his neck. Crame tried to strike back, but Yuno dodged and placed a second spear from behind, showing that he now had 2 points of advantage. Yuno asked if Crame was not going to use magic. Crame replied that Yuno should not be holding back his power. Yuno agreed and then attacked Crame from all sides in one move. Crame finally admitted defeat and declared it. Then he asked if Yuno had really decided not to hold back for now, but said it was not a good idea, as Yuno had extraordinary power beyond even Athena's blessings. Even Crame was surprised that Luna had noticed it instantly. Yuno said that he was going to become more serious from now on for that. While they were both getting along well, on the other hand, Astaroth gathered all the monsters of the forest and tried to command them, but they were not listening properly, so she showed just 1% of her power. They all became scared. Astaroth then said that she had an important matter and wanted them to complete it. On the other side, Soleil-sensei had already sensed something strange coming from the forest. Crame and Yuno were talking about Yuno joining the student council, as he and Alice had already been chosen. One spot was left, to be decided by a tournament. Crame thought that Yuno could easily win that spot. Yuno thought it was perfect for making Athena's name more popular. Suddenly, they both heard strange sounds coming from the forest. For some reason, Yuno remembered Astaroth's words about meeting again. On the other side, Astaroth was happy and enjoying herself, watching the monsters attack the students. It even showed the divine beast that had come before to watch over Athena and Luna. The beast also became angry at Astaroth. Soleil-sensei asked everyone to gather together, as there was an emergency. Alice also reached Crane and Yuno and told them that there was a stampede of monsters and they had to join the other students. They all started running toward the base, and Yuno thought that he was sure it was the aura of the goddess Astaroth. On the other hand, Astaroth was enjoying herself, wondering what she would get to see next. On the way, Yuno, Alice, and Crane were fighting the monsters. They saw that a barrier had been created over the central base by Soleil-sensei. Suddenly, they noticed a golden light and a red light clashing against each other. Actually, it was the master of the forest, Fenrir, fighting against Astaroth. Fenrir was trying to protect everyone from Astaroth. Astaroth asked about Fenrir's well-being, to which Fenrir replied that everything was fine until she appeared. While they were fighting, the students at the central camp wondered what was happening in the sky. Then Alice and the others arrived. Alice asked Soleil about the lights. Soleil explained that it was the goddess Astaroth fighting against the divine beast Fenrir. Hearing this, Yuno became sure that Astaroth was behind all the chaos. Seeing Soleil-sensei struggling to maintain the barrier, Yuno wanted to help, but Soleil said that it was not a problem, as the Royal Knight Order with the sword Saint Rey Astario was marching toward them. Yuno was surprised that Rey was coming, which meant the situation was extremely dire. Fenrir tried to fight, but Astaroth was far too powerful. She laughed, telling Fenrir to cry for everyone to hear, and attacked him. Still, Fenrir fought back against Astaroth, managing to hold his ground somehow, but all the students were chanting and praising Astaroth to win. Astaroth shouted that the gods gained more power in the fight as everyone's faith in them grew. Hearing this, Yuno asked Soleil about it. Soleil asked if it wasn't obvious that the goddess Astaroth was one of those heroic gods. Yuno wanted to shout that Fenrir was the forest protector, but he soon realized that it was not as he thought. Everyone believed that Astaroth was in the right, despite the situation. As to them, she was stopping Fenrir from attacking. At first, Yuno thought that maybe his choice to make a pact with a god had been a mistake. But soon he remembered Athena's cuteness and honesty, which made him believe that she was not like that, because the feelings he had when seeing her could not be mistaken. He then went to have a talk with Athena, but before he could speak, Athena hugged him tightly and shouted that he had to save that child. He asked in confusion what child she meant. Athena explained that the land was always protected by the divine beast Fenrir, and that Fenrir was the child who was crying. Yuno decided to go, but suddenly saw Soleil struggling to maintain the barrier. He hesitated, unsure whom to help. Everyone became tense, so Crane and Alice decided to assist Soleil-sensei. Suddenly, Yuno heard Luna saying that he should go. If there was something he could do, he should definitely act. Seeing the belief in Luna's eyes, Yuno became certain of what to do and said he would definitely do it. Athena tried to stop him as she got carried away in the moment, but Yuno told her that it was okay, as he had her blessings. He was determined to do anything for Athena, even if it meant killing a god or facing something equally dangerous. In the base, Maru is stunned seeing the scene as if both gods are trying to kill each other like a fairy tale. On the other hand, at Observation Tower, people were wondering if Fenrir lost its mind and was attacking. The goddess Astaroth is trying to save Earth from Fenrir now. They all believe that Fenrir can be a huge threat to everyone, and if not stopped, it could eat the other gods too. But now, when Astaroth stood face to face with Fenrir, Fenrir became the world's enemy now. At Central Base, Alice asks why Luna let Yuno go. Luna says that it is useless to stop him, and Alice was not able to stop him too. Actually, when Alice tried to stop Yuno, Yuno did not stop. It is the second time she saw Yuno make that serious face, as usually he is a carefree and careless laughing person. So whenever he decides to prepare for the worst, his face looks like that. While Alice was thinking, Luna said that it was okay, as he would come back since she had not allowed him to die. Even Maru said that it was okay, as Yuno would come back after getting scared. Crane asked Alice to relax a bit. Suddenly she shouted at everyone. Soon after realizing it, she felt sad about what she had done. Crane said that she was right, but he also would have taken tension if he had not known Yuno well. But the thing is, that he had a feeling that Yuno would come back alive, for sure. On the other side, Yuno was just standing below Fenrir and Astaroth fighting. He was wondering what to do now as one single mistake could end him. It is because on one side, the Horde is going to attack the students, but the thing is, Crane promised him to protect Athena and Luna in his absence. Also, the other students are also elite ones, plus Rey and Royal Knights are also coming too. At that moment, he remembers Athena asking him to save the child. For that, he must kill Astaroth, but first he wonders the consequences of killing a goddess in front of them. Soon, he wondered when he became so confident that he could kill a goddess by himself anytime he wanted to. Moreover, it was a good chance for him to test his power and see how far he could go. So just as Astaroth was going to kill Fenrir, Yuno took off to go between them. A blue light aura also appeared from him, seeing which everyone was stunned as a third light came. The observers were also surprised that someone else was coming, and after measuring the magic power, they were completely stunned. Crane was amazed, and Alice asked who it was, while Luna was smiling with happiness, thinking that it was amazing, and said that the boy had a good taste. On the other side, Astaroth was surprised to see Yuno there, but before she or Fenrir could understand, Yuno held her face and pushed her toward the ground, saying that she was coming with him. Every student was stunned to see that the blue light knocked the red one to the ground. Upon asking, Soleil shared that the magic power coming from the blue light was more than Fenrir and equal to goddess Astaroth. That means a new unknown god had made contact with goddess Astaroth. While Astaroth smiled and asked if Yuno came all the way just to see her, everyone realized that the third god was fighting with goddess Astaroth. Here, Alice was just hoping that Yuno would be fine. Meanwhile, the main horde of the stampede arrived, and it was becoming too difficult for Soleil-sensei to handle alone. On the other side, Astaroth said that he wanted to see her, but for the moment he had an important task, as he was the only one who could stop the stampede. Alice used her magic power to form a shield together with Soleil-sensei. Yuno responded that he knew she was the one causing the stampede, so he came to stop her, but Astaroth denied it, saying that it was how their destinies played out. Yuno would kill Fenrir, who caused this, and become a god, but because he was afraid, he came to her for help. Deep inside, Yuno knew he came to fulfill Athena's wish, but he was feeling anxious about it. Moreover, Astaroth started provoking him, teasing him to gather the courage he needed, saying that she would guide him through the challenge of the night. She felt that he was falling into her trick, but the moment he got too close, he shouted that he was on her side. Saying this, he suddenly attacked her with the spear, but she easily dodged it and flew into the air. Yuno was relieved that she wasn't his type, otherwise her influence could have caused problems for him. Astaroth started laughing, saying that she knew he wouldn't disappoint her, but now it seemed she had to face him directly, as it was part of their destiny. From the immense overflow of evil aura from Astaroth, Yuno realized that she wasn't a true goddess. So, he went to attack her again. Meanwhile, on the other side, the monsters were starting to get inside. The holy shield was weakening because Alice's power was also decreasing. She was tense because only she could maintain that magic, and until Yuno returned, she had to protect everyone. The others were also running out of energy from fighting the monsters. Seeing this, she tried to use her full power, but suddenly she was stunned as she had run out of magic. She felt completely sad, realizing she couldn't do anything anymore. She couldn't protect those she loved and couldn't fight in such circumstances. She was confused about why she was at the top of the class and why, when she aimed at someone, she couldn't reach them. While she was thinking all this and feeling devastated, she kept hoping for Yuno to come. Suddenly, she felt Yuno's presence, so she turned around, but there she saw Ray patting her head, saying that she had shown wonderful, flawless magic. Seeing Ray, Alice started crying with happiness. The Royal Knights also arrived and began taking control of the situation by fighting the monsters. Ray asked the knights to send medics to those who had used up their magic. Seeing the Sword Saint, everyone felt relieved, thinking that they were safe now. Alice then went to tell Ray about Yuno, but Ray smiled and said that she already knew about him. Moreover, she told Alice not to worry, as there was no problem in that according to her. Alice was confused, wondering what Ray meant. Ray then looked at Athena and asked if she was the god with whom Yuno had made a pact. Ray bowed before her to meet and introduce herself. Athena was shocked to hear that Ray was Yuno's older sister. She greeted her and rambled out whatever she could. Finally, when Ray praised Athena for her beauty, Athena thanked her happily. Ray then looked at Luna and said that until graduation, she was lending Yuno to her. Luna replied that who knows, as it might go beyond that. Both stared at each other fiercely, seeing which Alice wondered what was causing this tense atmosphere between them. Both Ray and Luna started debating over who Yuno loved more, in the present or the future. Seeing this, Alice also wondered, thinking she had been sitting beside Yuno since childhood, but soon she realized it and felt embarrassed about her thoughts. Alice wanted to be with Yuno, but not in the way Ray and Luna were discussing. Meanwhile, the commander asked if Ray was ready. She said yes, then wielded her sword, gathered magic energy from it, and unleashed it toward the monsters. In an instant, an entire line of monsters was wiped out. She then told everyone, "Let's take out the rest." Everyone was stunned by her power. On the other side, the fight began. Astaroth attacked him, but he easily dodged. While doing so, he wondered what she meant by becoming a god. But at that moment, he was hit by her slightly, and he realized that it was not the right time. Their fight became more serious from then on. Yuno was very determined, as Astaroth was putting the students' lives in great danger and trying to frame Fenrir as the one behind the stampede. He ferociously wielded his spear here and there, attacking her while wondering how they all could be known as gods. Even after continuous attacks, she easily dodged them. This made him even more furious, thinking it couldn't be that he was the only one who knew her like this. This time, he finally managed to land a slash on her. Fenrir arrived and told Yuno not to be angry, as he wasn't ready for it. Astaroth grew a little serious and threw Yuno back with her punch. Yuno slammed onto the ground but was attacked again by her, though he managed to dodge it somehow. Astaroth shouted that it wasn't a game and that he needed to fight properly and take the lead. Yuno also realized that he needed to use more power, as it wasn't enough, so he had to keep pushing higher until he could surpass her. He attacked her again, but she dodged it. His spear got stuck in the ground. Without wasting time, he used his immense strength to lift that piece of ground and strike at her. She still dodged it, but the explosion caused problems for her. Yuno got the chance to attack and possibly kill her now, but just as he reached for it, his hands started shaking slightly. She asked if he hadn't noticed that their powers were equal. Actually, he wondered if choosing to kill her would end everything, as Astaroth was Charlotte's pact god. While she was rambling about him being equal to the power of gods, he was focused only on his choice, wanting to raise Athena's reputation. She kept mocking him to the limit, trying to make him attack her. He was getting frustrated and was finally about to act, knowing that he wasn't like her. Then she taunted him, asking him to come and dance together. Yuno grew ferocious and went to punch her hard in the face. Suddenly, a ray of light appeared above him. Seeing this, Fenrir tensed and intervened, trying to pull him out of the light and prevent Yuno from being engulfed by it. A blast shook the area, revealing that Lucifer had arrived. He said that Astaroth had breached the contract, which made Astaroth furious. Yuno confusedly asks what the hell that new guy is now. The Fenrir tells Yuno to not try to anger that guy. Yuno knows he doesn't stand a chance against the new guy, but still he wants to go there anyway right now. Thinking this, Yuno jumps toward Lucifer again. Fenrir angrily asks where Yuno is going. Yuno says that he has to talk with that new guy. Hearing this, Fenrir becomes furious. Astaroth replies to Lucifer that he is the one speaking out wrongly now. Plus, she learned on her own the reason behind the arrival of a stray god and a human. She even tried to use her demonic eye to charm him, but Lucifer says that it won't work on him. Lucifer then shouts that it's not the time for that yet, and he glares angrily at Astaroth. Astaroth hears it and understands something right away. Lucifer then calls Yuno a clown and says he is also a fool who plays around with fate. He says that Yuno is just a piece in a game, walking exactly as fate wants. Yuno thinks about it for a moment and then asks, "So what?" Hearing this, Astaroth starts laughing and asks if Yuno wasn't just too funny. Hearing Lucifer's name, Yuno wonders if Lucifer is some kind of supreme deity. Lucifer tells Yuno many things about fate, but Yuno isn't understanding any of it. Lucifer says that Yuno's presence is worthless, and then he leaves, telling Yuno not to disappoint him. The moment Astaroth leaves that place, the magic holding all the monsters is lifted. The moment Yuno feels a bit free, he suddenly realizes that he is getting a death stare from Fenrir. Yuno thanks Fenrir, as he came to save Fenrir, but ended up getting saved by Fenrir instead. Fenrir asks if Yuno is leaving now. Yuno says yes, since his friends and Athena are waiting for him. Deep down, he knows he also has to save Fenrir, since people think all of this is Fenrir's doing. But suddenly Fenrir steps in front of him and tells Yuno to sit, as she will take him back to his base. On the other side, everyone is happy that the monsters are leaving on their own. Everyone is happy to see Yuno, but for some reason, Alice ignores him. Seeing this, he feels confused. The moment Yuno gets down from the beast, Athena hugs him happily. Soon, both feel embarrassed for hugging like that. Suddenly, Yuno senses a strange aura, and upon looking, he sees that it is his sister. Before he can say anything, she hugs him and starts checking him all over, which makes everyone tense, wondering what is happening. Ray then asks about the beast. He explains that the beast rescued him and helped bring him back. She pats the wolf on the head, but questions why the coat is so generous for a beast like her. Yuno then asks Ray about the situation. Ray explains that she got information that a ruckus was caused by the divine beast Fenrir. She was about to carry out a critical mission, which makes him confusedly ask what mission. Ray explains that her mission is the subjugation of the divine beast Fenrir, as it has been ordered by the kingdom through a royal decree. It shows the past when Fenrir asks Yuno to get on her back. Yuno refuses, asking Fenrir to hide since her reputation has fallen in the eyes of the people, and he didn't want her to suffer for deeds she didn't commit. He tells Fenrir to rest assured, as he would make sure the allegations against her are removed. Saying this, he starts moving forward, but suddenly falls down. At the same time, a beast approaches him, making him tense. To his surprise, he hears Fenrir's voice and asks if it is really her. Fenrir explains that Yuno is suffering from the recoil of a magician who had released all of their power. Yuno again asks if Fenrir would regret helping him. Fenrir tells Yuno to focus on himself, as he isn't well at all, so he agrees to accept Fenrir's help. In the present, Yuno asks if Ray really believes that Fenrir did all those things. Receiving no answer, he shouts that it's wrong, since Fenrir saved him. He was even about to reveal who the real culprit is, but Ray interrupts him and says no more words for now. She whispers in his ear that she can't save him if he says anything more. He asks if they have proof. She denies it. But the problem is that they believe Fenrir is a god-eater. Moreover, the decision has been made by royal decree and is supported by many gods. Yuno realizes that he can't do anything in a world where people blindly believe the gods. He feels frustrated, thinking this is why he has been feeling so uneasy. Moreover, he wonders what he can do without endangering Athena, Luna, and Fenrir. The problem is that he is far weaker than those gods. The commander of the royal knights arrives and asks Yuno to reveal who the real culprit is. The moment Yuno is about to name Astaroth, Ray interrupts and says it's the blue meteor. He is confused for a moment, but now he has to go along with that made-up story. Yuno is mocked by others for lying, saying that Fenrir saved him, but despite feeling hopeless, he still wants to fulfill Athena's wish. He realizes that to help Athena rise, he must cleanse the world's lands. He decides to change the world so that Athena can belong in it. Seeing his eyes, Fenrir asks Yuno about his thoughts, wondering if he intends to make everyone turn against him. Yuno declines, saying he has something else to do, but to do it, he must ask Athena first. Surprisingly, when Yuno goes to ask her, she agrees without even hearing the full plan. He is stunned, but she explains that it was her wish after all, and she never intended to monopolize him. Seeing her happy face and receiving her praise makes him happy. She finally asks him not to forget her, as she was the first god he made a pact with. Yuno feels overwhelmed by her cuteness and is certain that even if his first pact was with god Zeus, he would always prioritize Athena. After Ray and the other royal knights leave the base, Yuno goes to Fenrir and asks to make a pact with him. Fenrir asks about Yuno's motive, wondering why he wants a pact when his powers are already greater than hers. Yuno says that he wants the blessing of transformation, as he wishes to rewrite the existence that caused the stampede, which can only be the blue meteor. Fenrir says that it's a ridiculous idea, as whether Yuno makes a god a friend or foe, it won't be as easy as he thinks. Yuno replies that he only understands one thing: if there's something he can achieve, he will do it by opening a new path in the world. But for that, he wants Fenrir by his side. Fenrir agrees, as she also wants to see how it unfolds. Seeing them like this, Luna feels a little worried. Yuno asks permission from Soleil-sensei to return the beast to the forest. Sensei agrees, but warns Yuno not to do anything reckless. Yuno then tells Fenrir to head to a place where no one can see them, but on the way, Luna is standing there and tells him that it would be better to keep the beast at their house. Yuno thinks it's a good idea, but when he tries to ask Fenrir, she just swats his hand away, so they realize that the beast doesn't want to. Luna then asks Yuno why he came there. He says that he needs to tinkle and can't do it in front of her. She smiles and says that once it's all over, he will be able to stop the clash between the gods. He tries to say something, but she asks him not to, reminding him that he is human and everyone has their own way of living. She adds that if he still has a reason to go, he should just take an oath to not change and return to her as usual. He takes an oath to not change and always serve her as a knight from now on. She then leaves, but on the way, she says that he is really an idiot. After Luna is gone, Fenrir praises Yuno, saying that he has some truly good companions. Upon reaching a quiet place, Fenrir asks if he is ready to make the pact. Deep down, he feels nervous, as he now has to pose as the blue meteor and face Ray and the royal knights. Still, he agrees, and offers his hand to Fenrir to seal the pact. He wants to do this because he can't stand that the gods and their followers dragged Fenrir into such a mess, even while she was trying to save everyone and the forest. Yuno is determined to take the steps needed to change the world. When Yuno forms the contract, the surroundings make him feel a bit dizzy, and he sees the forest around him. Suddenly, he is hugged by Fenrir, who has returned to her girl form, thanking him for helping her find the meaning of life. It's the same girl he had fed fish before. Soon, he sees Fenrir again and feels confused, wondering why he heard a girl's voice. He then realizes the skill he gained is called transformation. Seeing his confusion, she asks what's wrong. He asks what the skill does. She explains that with it, he can transform into whatever image he has in mind. He feels happy hearing this, but she warns him to stay cautious, as people with higher skills can see through his true identity. Yuno then uses his skill to transform himself. He tries to make himself a mix of Luna and Athena's hair color, Alice's eye color, Krame's beauty, Fenrir's hair, and fur color opposite of Astaroth. Finally, he completes the transformation. Fenrir says that it's not bad at all. Before flying away, he asks Fenrir to wait for the right time. Yuno then goes to find the others, and along the way, seeing the surroundings, he feels that someone is needed to point out the mistakes that have been made. He finally finds his big sister and the Royal Knight's army. At last, Yuno decides to carve out a new story by himself. Seeing him in the air, Rei asks who he is. Yuno says that he is the evil god Noah, the one who caused the stampede. Everyone is stunned to hear this, and for some reason, the commander starts shaking. Yuno thinks that everyone will attack him upon hearing the name, as it's one he carries from a fairy tale. He plans to land on the ground, but midway, he realizes he doesn't know how and ends up crashing into it. Commander Garnos thinks it's some kind of ambush from behind, but when they see that the evil god has fallen to the ground, all the royal knights rush to attack, asking who he is. When Yuno shows a ferocious face, Rei shouts and tells Garnos to stop the army. Garnos tries to argue, but she shouts and says that it's an order. Seeing this, Yuno feels happy, as he can now play the role of the evil god and his tension is gone. Rei tells Garnos to act more carefully, as it's not good to attack without knowing the enemy. Garnos asks if Rei means that it's the blue meteor. She denies knowing, but says they must be careful. The first thing they realized is that the blue meteor has magic power similar to goddess Astaroth, but they can sense nothing from Noah. Yuno realizes that he had sealed his magic out of habit, but now he releases it for a moment. Seeing the aura of magic from Noah, all the knights feel their aggression vanish. Everyone runs back in fear. Yuno shouts that he is the blue meteor and asks why they are all shaking like puppies, and whether in such a state they could even hunt Fenrir. He even calls all the knights clowns. But deep down, he understands why Lucifer had called him a clown back then. He feels like they are dolls being controlled by someone, not even knowing what is happening right in front of them. When Garnos calls Noah a devil, Yuno gets close to them and says they are all comrades in being evil. Garnos asks in confusion what Noah means. Yuno responds by asking if they weren't all trying to slay Fenrir, who tried to save them, so they are definitely evil. Even when Yuno asks them to form a contract with him, Garnos angrily tells Noah to stop spouting nonsense, but Yuno says that they are the ones spouting nonsense, as they don't know the real culprit and are acting on what they've heard, ignoring the truth that he caused the stampede. Garnos shouts that it's not true because their lord told them so. Yuno aggressively grabs Garnos' face and tells him to tell their dim-witted lord not to block his warpath. Just as Yuno is about to hurt Garnos in his anger, Rei arrives and stops him. She introduces herself and then asks him to say which god he is. When Yuno tries to speak his god name, Noah, he finds that he cannot. She wonders in confusion what is going on. He remembers what Athena said in class and tensely wonders why the rules of the gods are applying to him, a mere human. He feels like his mind is forcing him to say Zeus, and that's when he realizes that Lucifer was right about him being a pawn. Still, Yuno grows aggressive and somehow shouts that he is Noah. With this ferocious aura, Rei becomes cautious and draws her sword to face him. Yuno angrily tells Rei to engrave his name, Noah, in her mind. She smiles and says, okay. They both had a head-to-head fight in starting. During that, he realized that his headache was now gone, and he was good to go. Rei then said that she was disappointed in the evil god, as she wasn't even using half of her strength, so whether that's the only power he got. Yuno agreed with it and said that in his case, he wasn't even using a tenth of his ability. Hearing this, Rei got more serious and began gathering her whole power to strike him with her best attack. She rushed toward the evil god to attack, shouting that it was a secret technique called Yuno Crisis. Yuno already saw that it was an incredible attack, but for him it was nothing, so he easily deflected the attack. Everyone was stunned that Rei's best attack got deflected in an instant. Yuno mocked her, asking if that was all she had, as he was just winding up his legs. Rei then shouted and asked Noah about his motive for doing that stampede. Yuno laughed and said that it was just to make himself famous to everyone. Garnos was stunned hearing it, as Noah risked children's lives for that, so he must be an evil god. But in that, Garnos saw a chance to attack Noah, so he rushed forward, but Yuno easily blocked the attack. Garnos was furious, ready to kill the evil god to save the city. Ray asked Garnos to stand down, but he didn't listen. Yuno didn't like Garnos's aggressiveness, as despite holding back and trying to control the situation, Garnos rushed toward him to kill, just believing in one lord and abandoning his own thinking. Yuno broke Garnos's sword and then ferociously asked him to choose whether he wanted to live or die, as he had to at least make that decision himself. Seeing the fire and ferocious aura, all the other knights ran away from there. But still, Garnos didn't run away. He shouted that he would never be at the mercy of an evil god when he had his blessings. Deep down, Yuno wondered what he was doing, but he also knew there was no going back now. Ray tried to run toward Garnos to save him, but Garnos was mocking the evil god while the god's hands were shaking. Yuno became fully ferocious and attacked Garnos with his fire. Just as Ray tried to get in between, she was surprised to see that Yuno had already arrived. It was none other than Fenrir. Fenrir shouted and asked if that was what Yuno wanted to show her. Yuno tensed as Athena came in front to save him. He was scared because now he wouldn't be able to stop it in time. The most important thing was that his own goddess, Athena, was about to be killed by his own hands. At that time, Yuno thought that since childhood, he had been alone and didn't want to be with anyone. He had no dreams, but the day he met Athena, a ray of light touched his heart. He even found a goal that day, and it was to make goddess Athena the utmost supreme. Noah started crying in front of everyone, thinking about what he had done, but to his surprise, Ray came in between and deflected the attack. Even Crane came to help Athena. When everything calmed down, Yuno ferociously asked Fenrir why she had come, as she and Athena had almost died just now. Fenrir shouted and told Yuno to be quiet, saying he should first look at his own wet face that he had created, and whether he could really act like an evil god. She also didn't know why everyone else had come. Athena leaned on Yuno and asked why he did things like deciding to die on his own. Fenrir, in Yuno's avatar, said that he was as good as a fiddle. Hearing this, everyone was surprised and confused. On the other side, the real Yuno was wondering if he really deserved a goddess like Athena. Fenrir asked Yuno what now, and whether he wanted to end things like that. Yuno became confused, wondering what to do. Suddenly, Ray shouted and said that Noah must have realized the tables had turned now, as there was another god like him. She then introduced Athena to everyone. From this, Yuno got an idea. He started laughing and asked if this is how humans do things, as he didn't expect that they would all be ready to call goddess Athena for him. Everyone thought that Noah was anxious because of goddess Athena, so they started cheering for her. This confused Athena, and she started moving her hands here and there. Yuno got the chance and showed that he had been attacked by her. He threw himself back and got slightly injured. Everyone was stunned to see Noah getting defeated. Athena was confused about what had happened. Suddenly, Noah shouted that she had fought well. Everyone started saying that goddess Athena had defeated that guy. Yuno now said that he was retreating for now, but he would definitely come back. Meanwhile, Athena was just looking at her own hands, wondering if she had really done that. After Noah disappeared, everyone sighed in relief. They all then stared at Athena and rushed toward her, happily shouting that she had saved them. She became anxious seeing them like that. Ray came and asked everyone to stop troubling Athena, but she herself hugged her tightly, thanking her. Athena was getting overwhelmed by it. When she tried to ask for help from Yuno, she saw that he had disappeared. Crane said that Yuno had promised to come back soon. On the other side, Yuno returned to his original form and healed himself. He knew that many people would now follow him, either to kill him or to befriend him, but he felt he had the strength to handle them all. He decided to keep his true power hidden until Luna or Athena faced danger. Slowly, he fell asleep from being tired. The next moment, he opened his eyes and saw that it was morning, and Athena was sitting beside him. He was surprised and wondered why she was there. Athena said that she was worried, so she searched for him with the help of Crane, and after finding him, she stayed with him. He apologized to her, and she told him not to go off like that, as even though she didn't have much to give, she was still his kami-sama. Deep down, Yuno was apologizing to her, as the way he had used her fame might not have been liked by her, but he had already decided that making her the most famous goddess was his life goal. He asked her to go back together with him. The scene then shifted to a few days later, showing Elise asking Yuno about the work he was doing. He said that he had befriended a beast, so he was building a house for her. Elise looked at the beast and asked if it was a she or not. Yuno himself didn't know clearly, but Fenrir told him to answer however he wanted. Yuno said that it was a female pet. Elise got happy and said that it was cute. Actually, it had been 3 days since the incident, and Fenrir decided to live with them, while the rumors of the evil god had spread, and he had somewhat succeeded in clearing Fenrir's name. But there was still some doubt, so the capital decided to lay low and not draw any attention. Luna came and asked about the progress of the house, saying that Elise shouldn't interfere with Yuno's work. Athena brought food for him. A few hours earlier, they had gone to Argos to get permission to let the beast stay. He was hesitant, but with Charlotte's permission, and since Luna had asked something for the first time, he agreed, on the condition that Yuno let the beast stay in the kennel. Yuno didn't want to agree, but Fenrir said that she would feel hurt by that. In the present, Elise asked Luna about the name they had given the beast. Luna said it was Pochi. He was surprised, and wanted to give it another name. But Fenrir said that she was okay with it, as it was easy to remember. Yuno tried to argue that, as a goddess of the forest, she should have a great name, but Fenrir said that she liked Luna, and she was fine with the name. Upon seeing the beast wagging its tail, Luna got happy, as the beast liked the name. Yuno felt a mysterious sense of defeat. Elise also played with Pochi. Yuno then asked if Athena wanted to do it. She asked if it was okay. He said yes, and happily pulled her along. The scene then shifted to Rose State Training Ground, where Alice was training herself. She was doing it to learn how to use mid-level magic. After practicing, she wondered about the request Athena had made to Yuno, thinking about what reaction Yuno would have when she asked the same question. She soon got embarrassed, realizing it wasn't good for her to think like that. Just then, the butler came and told her that her mother wanted to meet her to discuss tomorrow's social gathering. Next, it showed the president of the Magical Knights, Selena Barrett, coming to meet a man who was none other than the vice president, Leod Mars. He greeted her, and she asked if she could turn the lights on, but he remained silent, so she decided to sit quietly. He then suggested celebrating the return of their freshman. She hesitantly agreed, but after drinking, she realized it was just water. When she said some words of cheering, Leod simply said, "Dies irae." She got confused and asked what he meant. He angrily asked if she was playing with him. As the leader, she shouldn't be unaware of that. To make up, she said she was just testing him. Then he asked if she knew that a god order had been placed on the forest divine beast case. She even praised that only a member of the Mars family, in charge of the dark side, could have such vast knowledge of the stampede and the clash between gods. He praised her back for keeping a keen eye on her peers beyond the darkness. Deep down, she wanted to go back home, but suddenly, Leod started talking about the evil god Noah. He said that there was no information about Noah in the Mars family records. When she asked for more details, Leod said that it was Noah's Ark. She realized it was the famous fairy tale, so she curiously asked if it had something to do with that story. At first, he agreed with it, but soon asked to leave the topic. She tried not to, but he didn't say more about it. He then started discussing the tournament. For the student council, Alice and Crane were offered spots, but the third spot would go to the winner of the upcoming tournament. She asked if Leod had a potential victor in mind for the tournament. He said yes, but the thing was, it wasn't her sister. She actually knew it was someone else, but she still had some hopes for her sister. They then discussed that they both knew who it was, and decided to say the name together. But before they could, the scene shifted to Athena shouting Yuno's name. They were all playing with Pochi. Seeing this, Yuno was very happy. Moreover, he was happy about everything he had done that night, because he yearned to see Luna, Athena, and Fenrir smile. After that, he was going somewhere, so Pochi asked where he was going. He replied that he was going to the toilet. Pochi realized that Yuno had also noticed some people starting to pay attention to him. She decided to keep an eye on them, but he also needed to be aware of it. In the bathroom, Yuno wondered who Pochi was talking about, whether it was Astaroth or his sister and her team. Still, there was no time for him to get sentimental now. Next, it showed the Knights' Magical Academy arena, where Athena was trying to glow. She finally succeeded, and seeing this, Yuno was very happy. Everyone else was also amazed to see her glow like that. Athena and Yuno discussed her power, as it was getting stronger and stronger. Athena asked if it would help him, and he said yes. She felt happy. Seeing them like that, others were a little annoyed, but some were still talking about the rumor that Athena had defeated the blue meteor. Yuno was happy that the rumors were working well, but the gag ruined everything. Still, Athena's divine power was improving, which was good. Suddenly, Maru came and asked if Yuno had fun at the camp, and what had happened to his usual self, who always caused a ruckus. Yuno simply apologized for it. Maru then, in his flow of mocking, went further and indirectly mocked Athena. Yuno angrily told Maru to stop, but Maru kept blabbering. Suddenly, out of nowhere, he passed out. Everyone was surprised to see it and called out to Soleil's sensei. When sensei arrived, Yuno asked to carry Maru to the infirmary. Soleil agreed. While Yuno carried Maru alone, Soleil asked if he was okay. Yuno nodded. Finally, Soleil told Yuno to keep it in moderation. On the way, he forgave Maru for insulting Athena, but when he got inside the infirmary, no one was there, so he decided to pick a room by himself. Upon entering, he was surprised to see a senpai sitting there. It was Liad sitting there. Liad said that it looked like destiny was at work again. Yuno was confused, as he had no idea what Liad meant. Seeing Liad bandaging himself, Yuno asked if he had gotten hurt. Liad denied it, saying it was just a seal. Yuno felt that the guy was a little crazy, so he decided not to get involved with Liad. As Yuno was going back, Liad shouted Lord Noah's name. Hearing this, Yuno became a little protective, but suddenly, Liad asked if Yuno knew about Lord Noah. Yuno acted like he didn't know. Liad praised Yuno for following the gag order, then introduced himself and asked if Yuno had heard about him. Yuno responded with a yes. Liad shared about his work and his family's work, and talked about the ruckus that had happened between Fenrir, goddess Astaroth, and the new evil god Noah. Liad asked Yuno what that evil god appeared to him. Yuno didn't want to talk, but he had to answer, so he said whatever he could. Liad then asked if Yuno found Noah's appearance beautiful. Yuno said yes, and then asked Liad the same question. Liad responded with a yes, and upon hearing about god Noah, he felt excited about making a pact with him. Yuno calmed himself and calmly asked what Liad thought about it. At first, Liad blabbered like everyone else, which made Yuno sad, feeling that everything was in vain. But suddenly, Liad asked if Yuno had been disappointed hearing that. Liad blabbered that he didn't like simple things, and if he put it in a complex way, then Fenrir wasn't behind the stampede, and not even the blue meteor. Yuno was happy, as he finally understood what Liad had meant from the start. He smirked and asked what Liad meant in other words. Liad said that the mastermind behind everything was the goddess Astaroth. Yuno thought that perhaps his encounter with Liad was truly destiny. After that, the scene shifted to the academy grounds where Selena was focusing on promoting the event and sharing all important information. She also had to appoint the referees and other key roles. While doing that, she met other students to motivate and cheer them, as everyone was excited to take part and be with the top 2 student council members. Moreover, it was a chance to showcase their talents, which made the students even more pumped up.